Hi, this is Chris Guld, and today I want to talk about podcasts, how to find and listen to podcasts. It all started with the iPod, the music listening device from Apple. After a while, people started making talk shows, and there came the name podcast. Now you probably listen on your iPhone and you use the podcast app. That one right there. So podcasts, and you have to learn to use the menus on it, but you can just browse through different topics. And if you're looking for a particular podcast, you can use the search. If I want to find our friend Keith's podcast called Behind the Veil, and when I tap search, there are actually quite a few behind the veils, but there, I see his right there, Keith, and I can listen to the latest episode. I also have a friend with a podcast that I don't know the name of the podcast, but I know his name, so I can just type in Martin Brossman and search, and there he is right there. Or you can search for a topic, so RV travel. And there's lots of them. As I scroll down, there's the one by another friend of ours, Mike Wendland. You say, well, but I don't have an iPhone, I have an Android. The Apple Podcast app might not work on Android, but there are tons of podcast apps that do. This is just a small sample. These also work on the Apple. Now, the one I use is the Google app called Podcasts. And you can do the same thing. You can explore. I can search for Behind the Veil. And there's lots of them, but there is the wedding one by our friend Keith. Or I can search for Martin Brossman and see his. Or I can search for RV travel. And there is the one by Mike Wendland. Using the app, you can do things like subscribe. Then you can get notified every time there's a new episode. But what if you're on a computer? Well, even on a Windows and Windows 11 machine, you can get the granddaddy iTunes app. And in addition to listening to music on iTunes, you can click right here and go to podcasts. And same thing, you can search or subscribe to podcasts right here. There's also Amazon Music. And in addition to music, there are podcasts. And you can search and you can subscribe here. But then don't forget about just the basic way of finding anything that's on the internet, and that's with the Google search. If I search for Keith Willard Behind the Veil, notice that the first thing that comes up, though, is YouTube. So his podcast starts out as a live stream on YouTube, and then here are the listings of all the podcasts. I admit that I don't know a whole lot about the podcast apps because I do it the lazy way. Play the latest episode of Behind the Veil podcast.
Getting Behind the Veil from Amazon Music. Here's Season 2, Episode 46. Co-hosts look back at the year and get real about this year.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Behind the Veil, a show that provides insight into...
That's easy.
Today, we're going to go...